and girls, so on page 334, we're going to do the same thing we did in the problem before. It says mountains are often measured by the distance they rise above sea level. Mount Washington rises more than 1 1/10 miles above sea level. Mount Everest rises about 5 times as high. About how many miles above sea level does Mount Everest rise? First question is, what do I need to find? I'm going to pause the video, you pause it too, and write down what the question is asking you. So you should have wrote the last sentence. It says, about how many miles above sea level does Mount Everest rise? And I went and underlined that in our problem. The second question is, what information do you need to use? Use this sentence to help you figure out what's the information, the important information from the problem. Go ahead and pause the video. So I went back in the problem and I found that Mount Washington rises 1 1/10 miles above sea level, and then Mount Everest rises 5 times that much. And I just put a 5x to show that. And how are we going to use this information? The same way we did in the previous problem, we're going to draw a diagram. So you can go ahead and draw a diagram. Moving over to solve the problem, I would like you to use the problem before to help you. What are the two things that we're comparing? And then you can go ahead and draw your boxes. Pause the video to do that and check back in. So you should have something like this. We have Mount Washington and Mount Everest are the two things that we're comparing. We know that Mount Washington is 1. I'm going to put 1 1/10 inside this box, miles above sea level, and then Mount Everest is 5 times that much. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 boxes. Now, inside each box, if I know that Mount Everest is 5 times this much, I'm going to put this fraction inside each of the boxes. You can pause the video and do that. So you should have 1 1/10 in each of your boxes. Now, we need to figure out, so how many miles is Mount Everest above sea level? It's the same thing as saying 5 times 1 1/10. But you need to rename this fraction. You can't do that. You can't leave it like this. Turn it into an improper fraction using the C method. Check back in to see what it is. So you should have got 11/10. You should have known that 1 times 10 is 10. Plus 1 was 11/10. Now I can multiply 5 times 11 and get 55/10. But I can't leave it like this. I need to rename this fraction. Think of this line as division. Pause the video and try renaming the fraction. So you know that 10 can fit into 55 5 whole times with 5 left over, and the denominator stays the same. And 5/10 is the same as 1/2. So I would accept both of these fractions. So the last question is, so Mount Everest rises about how many miles above sea level? About 5.5. You don't have to answer this question. We're done, guys. Go ahead and look at the other slides for a little bit of a review on chapter 8.